Okay, so this is a collective reading on the energy of all of us for the coming week. If any part of this does not apply to you, um, yeah, PVD is caused by CHF, Irene. PVD can be secondary to CHF. If you have vascular disease, if your vascular is weak, it's often because of congestive heart failure. Okay, so yeah, so whatever doesn't apply to you, you can go ahead and pass it down to the person next to you, and because it is a smorgasbord. I got a great cup of coffee here. Hopefully you. Oh, look at that! I'm almost done with my coffee. Can you guys see the bottom of that? Yeah, it's almost done. All right, let's do this thing. God bless you all for being here. We are excited. Hi, Allison, over in Facebook. Hello to everybody over at Facebook. We've got a couple hundred people over there saying hi to us right now. Hi, Irene, over at Facebook. Good to see you. Spinach omelet. Very, very good. All right, where we are at right now, the base of the matter is there is intense grief. We see this as a time of grief. We've talked about grief and we've talked about purification, that this is a time of purification. Maybe we felt disappointed by how things have gone so far, that we're not happy with the current administration. We're not happy with the economy. There's a lot of things we're not happy about right now. So, base card is when you look at what you've lost. And it can be a person who, this is certainly how I've been feeling. Oh my God, I'm 62 years old. I'm old. I'm going to die alone. Hi, Beth, over in Facebook. We got a ton of people over at Facebook. Carol, Beth, Margaret, good to see you all. This card that is our base right now. It's when a person cannot see their blessings. This is a big problem with me. Have you ever looked at how hard life is from people in many parts of the world? You probably have, right? Not that thinking about people who are suffering is going to necessarily make us feel better, because it just makes us depressed. Like, oh my God, people are suffering more than me. Oh my God, that's just making me more depressed now, right? But at the same time, a 5 of cups is a person who may not recognize just how blessed and lucky they are. It's the cups that remain standing, you know. Ring the bells that can still be rung. Do not worry about your imperfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That is how the light gets in, right? So this ability to be able to see our blessings, and this ability to know how many wonderful things we have. I have a great apartment. My apartment is fantastic in Portland. It's an extremely large studio, 675 square feet studio, huge windows overlooking the greatest city, Portland, Oregon. I love my town. I got a gym. I've got a washer and dryer in the unit. Come on, man, you can't get better than that. I've got a dishwasher. I've got all of you, right? So there's so many things for us to be grateful for. So this is something I would meditate on this week, is gratitude. And when you find yourself falling into that feeling a little bit of woe is me, the grief of the 5 of cups, try and also take a moment to be grateful for the things you do have, to be able to read and write. Many people cannot read or write. The gratitude that comes with literacy, and the gratitude to our teachers who taught us to read and write, right? There's so many things to be grateful for. Now, your karma card is something that we got to talk about because the karma card is Archangel Raphael. And Archangel Raphael comes as the Page of Cups. The archangels, the four archangels, are seen in the pages. Pages are children. They can come as children, but they come as messengers, and they come as angels. And the Hebrew word for messengers is malachim, which is angel. So a messenger and an angel is the same thing. So when the messenger, the page messenger or angel comes, it is telling us to be gentle and kind to ourselves. And he often brings messages regarding health and healing. Raphael is the healer. All the angels heal. All angels heal. But Raphael is designated he is the archangel patron of doctors, for example. He guides me, for example. As a doctor, I went and bought a painting of Archangel Raphael to put in my offices so people could look at Raphael and get that beautiful energy, that beautiful vibration from the healing of Archangel Raphael. So be aware that now is the time to focus on your healing, focus on your mental well-being as well. Just like when I was in a bit of a funk today, like when I made the mistake of reading part of the Epstein files. I was just like, man, this world, how can people do such terrible things to one another? And just, we all have to do our best to just be kinder, whatever your imperfections are. Like, I have horrible social anxiety. I can talk about it. I suffer from social anxiety. And sometimes I become mean to people because I'm having a social anxiety issue, right? So I have to acknowledge that I have that issue, that I don't like to go out a lot. I don't like crowds. I get social anxiety, right? So I have to think, well, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm going to be snapping or agitated or mean, because people are not going to understand that I'm coming from a place of social anxiety, right? So just be mindful. Be mindful of how whatever your stuff is could be impacting the people around. We are far more connected than we realize. So if you're depressed, your dogs, your cats know it. They sense it. Mila will always copy me. My cat will always copy me. She will always imitate me. If I am upset and stomping around, she will get up and then she will start following me around. We're stomping now. If I have to get up and go to the bathroom, we're going to the bathroom now. She is such a great familiar. So just be aware also that you're healing yourself and you're taking care of yourself, not just for yourself, but because your unhappiness is impacting other people. So now is the time to focus a lot on your own health and well-being. Where you're at right now, you are dreaming. You are the one who dreams. We dream of better days, don't we? We dream of better days. The Queen of Cups is highly emotional. She rubs her lamp and she dreams. The crossing card is to learn to let things go. It is very difficult because sometimes I think of obsessive compulsive disorder also when I think about the Queen of Cups, because she's dreaming. She's lost in the corridors of her mind, and she could be fixating even. OCD, emotional challenges, neuroses, being neurotic. Those things are also part of the Queen of Cups. She's very neurotic, digestion, nausea, all of this. Like those are the emotional Queen of Cups, who she's lost in her thoughts. And there's this feeling that we have to let things go a little bit and go where you will be happier. So it's the person who sits in a dirty, horrible house with horrible, rotten people and is depressed. I'm depressed. I don't want to clean. I don't want to do anything. I'm with these horrible people in this horrible situation. It's interesting. Spirit is saying, well, maybe you need to try another environment. Right? So you have Six of Swords, which is the ability to go to smoother waters. And the Chariot is to leave, let it all go and go somewhere else. It reminds me of the story of Abraham in the Bible. Abraham was living in Iraq, right? Sumar, Babylonia, right? And there was war going on, and people were worshiping idols. And he thought, I don't want to be a part of war. I don't want to be a part of worshiping idols. And so he meditated and prayed, and his higher self, God or the higher self, said, you need to leave your family, leave your father's house, leave everything, and go to a land I'll show you. And so he moved to Beersheba. He moved to the Negev, and he had a very peaceful life there. They had a farm, right? He moved to a farm in the Negev, right? So sometimes you have to be like Abraham. They changed his name to Abraham, right? Father of a nation. So take away from this idea that if the things that if it is making you unhappy, let it go. And it may mean physically going, that you may physically have to go somewhere to get the happiness you seek, and to take the weapons of war away from, the enemy. So if the problem is the environment, change the environment. If the problem is the environment, change the environment. If the problem is a work environment, for example, or a relationship, but this is this idea that one leaves and goes to a smoother place, and one takes the weapons of war. The problem with escapism is that escapism can be procrastination. The problem with the Queen of Cups is she can sit and dream her life away. And this is dream time. It's the stories we read about in books like The Mist of Avalon, where people get carried off in the mist by the fairies, and they just dream like they're in an opium dream, and they wake up and 50 years have passed. So that's the energy you think about when you think of the Queen of Cups. It's like that fairy energy. She dreams and she rubs her lamp and the years pass. But she's not particularly happy. So she runs off into escapism because she's just not happy with her current life. And what the universe is saying is, to hell with the escapism. Why don't you just leave? If the weather sucks, if the apartment sucks, if the partner sucks, if the job sucks, this is about taking control and being able to just leave. Where you are at right now, the sun is coming up for you. So this is also a time in your life when you may start feeling that you're starting to figure things out. Like, despite how depressed I am, and despite the fact that I'm upset about the crazy president, in a way, I feel like I'm starting to finally figure things out. Like, I don't have to hang out with you, even if you are my relative. You're a jerk. I'm leaving, right? Nobody gets to have access to you that doesn't treat you like a person. I get dibs to smack so-and-so around because I'm her older sister, brother, cousin, uncle, nephew, twice removed. It doesn't matter, right? If you're not happy, you have the right to leave. Go where you are treated best, as nomad capitalists would say. So the sun is coming out over you, and this is a time when you may start to feel like you're starting to get some answers. You don't want to fall into your bitterness. We all know the old cranky woman or the old cranky man. Get off my lawn, right? We don't want to be that person. We want to be in optimism. We want to be the old woman. Well, she wasn't really that old. That's Catherine O'Hara, right? Never said a bad word about her parents. Never said a bad word about anybody. And she probably had a hard childhood. She was the sixth of 7 children, a strict Irish Catholic family. And they probably were tough with her. Never said a single bad word about her parents ever. Never said a single bad word about anyone she's ever worked with professionally. She was always light and breezy, and Catherine was always making you laugh, right? She was always top of the morning to you. She was always trying to be up, up, up. I have a moral responsibility. I'm in front of the camera. I have a moral responsibility to lift you up, lift you up, lift you up. Right? That's the Tao of Catherine O'Hara. The camera's on. How can I lift you up? How can I get you to shine? How can I get you to laugh? Right? So we want to honor her life. She's just passed, but we also want to learn from her. You know, there's a reason why she was successful. There was a reason why she got the Order of Canada. You know, there's a reason why her friend, Eugene Levy, got the same award. These are good people that have struggled through their lives. They've had hard lives. They've had hardship. They've lost friends. They've known illness, etc. But they never lost their kindness, right? They always try to lift you up. It's like Eugene Levy. He struggled financially. He never made a lot of money. He was a Canadian comedian on Second City. They didn't have any money. He was always stressing about his mortgage, right? Oh God, can I make the bills? Can I make the bills? And then he got famous with American Pie, right? I remote viewed him. I wanted to get into his shoes. I wanted to know what it was to be Eugene Levy. And I was thinking to myself, I finally made it. I get to have that house. I don't have to stress about the mortgage. Then the Pasadena fires came, burned his house down. Well, I'm back where I started. C'est la vie. I'll work, you know, but you'll never know when you see a Eugene Levy film. He'll always be just like his sidekick, Catherine O'Hara, top of the morning to you, happy, ready to go, optimism, laugh, be positive. His house burned down. He lost it all. Well, he'd lost it before. He'll get it again. You know, just refusing that sun energy when it comes in. It is the person who understands the awesome responsibility of being alive and pulling other people up. And not just because you lost your house. I mean, I'm sorry your house burned down, or, you know, whatever. Catherine O'Hara, she was going through all kinds of crazy medical things she was going through and all kinds of stuff but she had in the forefront of her mind, I must, for the good of the planet, always focusing, how can I lift you up? This is my focus as an actor, as an entertainer. And I think that she worked so well with Eugene Levy because they both had that same awareness. We are here to do good in the world and to raise people up, like Schitt's Creek. So that is the situation that you find yourself in right now. You know what I'm saying? You can be that sun. You can go forward. You can go to the place where you're treated best. You don't need to stay and be abused. You just need to stop abusing yourself, whether you're doing it with substances or whether you're doing it with not eating right or exercising. And lift yourself up and lift others up. The opposition. There are people in this world that cannot stand the fact that you are happy. Maybe they don't like your house. Maybe they're jealous of your smile. Maybe there's, you know, I try to be positive, but I also can be very negative, horribly negative. Right? So we all have that part of us that can be the Knight of Swords. You can be the Knight of Swords. I can be the Knight of Swords, which is unleashing the rage. Unleashing the rage. No, she wasn't married to Tim Burton. Tim Burton is married to Helene Carter, Bonham Carter. And I met her. I actually met her with her son, who's from India. She adopted a son from India. He was in college, and she was purchasing some stuff, and I was assisting them. He's off to college, and I've got to, you know, get him his dental floss and all of that stuff. She was his go to college bag. I was helping prep. Good mother. See, that's a good person. Takes him shopping before he goes to college and Make sure he has all the floss he needs for the year. That's my inside story about Catherine O'Hara. Good person. Now, the other interesting thing is that I worked in Brentwood, Pharmaca Pharmacy in Brentwood, and she came in with her son, and we used to help her pack his going off to college bag. But that is down from Pasadena. That is just down from Pacific Palisades. Excuse me, Pacific Palisades. So she was literally a couple miles from Eugene Levy. So they literally lived next door. You know, they were two peas in a pod. They were buds. They were best buds. You know, yeah. So be optimistic. Be careful of the Knight of Swords. There are people and energies around you that could be wanting to pick a fight. Do not engage angry, violent, aggressive persons. Simply bless them and cross the street. You know, you've got this energy around you. Now is not the time to engage it, but in yourself and with others. Hopes and fears that you be loved, that you have steady partnerships, that you know what it is to be truly loved, that you experience true love. And it comes first with the discipline of taking proper care of yourself and proper attitude, mind, body, speech. What comes out of your mouth and what goes in your mouth is what Kabbalah talks about. Many Kabbalists are vegans. They won't put any dead animals in their bodies. Veganism's become very popular amongst Kabbalists in Israel. 10% of Israel is vegan. You know, Israel is a nation of what's the word I'm looking for? It's a nation of conflict, but it's also a nation of contrast, where you'll have the most holy, amazing people, and then you'll have the most awful people, right? You'll meet terrorists, but then you'll also meet these saintly vegan rabbis that are praying by a rock for world peace, you know, like Matisyahu, right? So, guys all heard that song by Matisyahu? Yeah, very good. So, what's it called? Love Someday? One Day by Matisyahu. Check it out. One Day by Matisyahu. So yeah, so your final outcome is King of Swords, which is that now is the time for you to be strong and disciplined in your life. Give an account and a reckoning, always an account and a reckoning. What is it you're trying to achieve? What is your mission in life? If you're not sure, chant often, pray often. Yeah, Matisyahu, Rabbi, yeah, he was in rabbinical school for a while. He was becoming a rabbi. Yeah. Yeah, Jewish mystic, right? So, King of Swords comes to tell you discipline. Yeah. This is saying be careful that the toxic energy is still there. I'm a little concerned crafting and conjuring with that Knight of Swords. But it's also that our country is just in a really crazy place right now. If you stay on the positive, if you stay on the straight and narrow, if you are about your business, if you start with what goes in your body, remember, just keep kosher, right? Keep kosher. Those laws are there for a reason, right? Well, pigs are like children. They have the intelligence of a 5-year-old child. You want to murder something that's looking at you like a 5-year-old child. Don't kill me. And then you're eating it and it's got the genetics like your kid. No, that's why we don't eat pigs. It's like chewing on your own finger. But a lot of people will just go pure vegan because it does have an impact on if you can keep your amino acids up, I think it's great. But it's this idea that it's impacting everything. But you're entering into a time of intense discipline, and the final outcome is that from that discipline will come great peace and harmony. 10 of Cups. Just stay on your path. And that is your reading. I hope it gave you some comfort.